presentation is about podcasts. It's by Dolores Guinazu. I think I've seen, yeah, so Dolores?
Here. Hi, Uri. I'm here.
Let's go ahead. If you need to share your screen, let's go ahead and share your screen and introduce yourself.
Share it. Perfect. Does it work? I have to, sorry. Just a second. How do I view presentation? Yes. Do I have to press presentation? Just a second. View.
You can press F5 and that should start it.
Present view. Oh, not this one. Sorry. I don't know how to delete the column. Do you know how to?
I think if you press slideshow on the menu, it's next to animations.
I can't see it. Just a second.
Yeah, you have to move the.
Press the F5 key.
Yes.
And it's not presenter view, it's play from the start.
Okay.
So the first button. Oh, there you go.
Sorry. Here it goes. Thank you. Sorry for the technical issues at the beginning. Well, I'm going to talk about podcasts and how we can think perhaps about having our own podcast as we have our own website and our own social media as a new way of sharing our ideas and perhaps finding new clients and making new connections. As you know, and the proverb says, done is better than perfect. Sometimes, at least in my case, I am a very huge podcast fan for many years, and I always wanted to have my own podcast or to, I don't know, to talk about the things and the issues that matter the most for me. And last year, during the pandemic, I finally decided to do it, and I wanted to share that it's not that you need a lot to make it happen. So sometimes you just have to have a strategy, a process, and make it happen. And then, of course, you will learn and be and improve throughout your journey. When the whole world is silent, even one voice becomes powerful. You may have heard about Malala and this proverb. So this means that you have to think that there are many podcasts. I don't know, I was trying to research in Israel how many podcasts are there, because in South America, it's pretty new, opposite to North America and some countries in Europe. But here it's beginning to become popular, and it's a good way to start because competition is not that fierce. And you may think that there are many podcasts, I don't know, about history or about translation or about the topic that most interests you. But even though there are many, your voice is only one. It's unique. And the way you will share that and you will make your point will be also unique. So you have to try and make it happen. And as Anna was talking previously, it's very important to focus and to be productive. To have a one line of business, or of, in this case of your podcast, related, of course, to your business and the thing that you are usually working on. For example, me, I'm a translator, I'm not an interpreter, so it was kind of a challenge to be raising my voice and talking. I do interviews, but there are many podcasts that are not interviews. There are solo episodes, so you can perhaps do a 5-minute show where you talk about something history related to translation, to technology, to post editing, to machines, so many topics. But once you decide, you have to stick to that. So you have to be, as it says here, disconnected in order to truly connect it to your own topic. And clearly define what you will offer to your audience. Then the type of services, how you will, in a way, try to relate this to your main business, if you want to, if you want to not be like a hobby, but also another business unit. Identify your market. Who would you like to listen to your podcast? Which community? Which people? Develop your campaigns through social media, through emailing. How are you going to do that? I mean, you have to sit first, define these, write them down, and then try to ensure or see the way you will try to ensure the success of all these campaigns. Then segment your market, because of course you cannot reach the whole world. And not all the people will like your podcast, will like your voice, will like your topic. So you have to be very selected. Then, I mean, the niche that you are going to try to reach, and focus on that. Then launch your service, follow up, promote, and always measure. My own podcast is hosted on Anchor. I don't know if you have heard about it. It's a free platform that was in fact bought by Spotify some weeks ago. And you can share, you can use that, and the same platform gives you the statistics on who are listening to your podcast, which countries, which age. I mean, it's very good, the way it shows. So you can then track and see on that, where do you develop, how do you keep it up? And then, as I was telling you before, there aren't many podcasts right now all over the world. There are only, this is from 2020, but as I told you before, the pandemic was like a boom in podcasts, and so many were launched last year. So now there are almost 1 million podcasts all over the world. But comparing, for example, to Instagram, where you have 5 million Instagram accounts, it's, a lot to work on a podcast if you compare it, so you can compete better. And here are the most popular places where people listen to podcasts. If you want to reach, I don't know, if your target audience is in Italy or in Spain, in South Korea, in Germany, I don't know the country, you may perhaps think about launching a podcast in your own language, or in your target language, or bilingual, or I don't know, you can search before and then see where would you like to have your own message heard. And what, in my case, like the most is that I can listen to podcasts while I'm driving. In my usual life, not now and not during last year, of course, I spent many hours commuting, taking my kids to school, coming and going, all by car. And podcast was a great companion, and I learned a lot. I think I love them. And you are doing another thing while listening and while learning. And as you can see here, the highest index is while in transit, or while you are in a train, or you're going to work, or also while cooking, while walking the dog. I mean, you can do another thing while doing this. And it's, you don't have a fixed time. It's not like the radio that you have your program that it goes at 9 a.m. or at 10 p.m. You can connect anytime. You can stop and continue when you are free. So that flexibility is what podcasts are like the most growing a lot. And also, as it says here, 3 out of every 4 people in the US, that is the biggest country with most podcasts, are listening to podcasts. And in fact, there are many, or the most famous one, Tim Ferriss podcast, the New York Times, the Daily Podcast, NPR podcast. There are many, the most famous or old ones, let's say, are from the US, and they are very good. Some of them are good, but they are long, like 1 hour or 2 hours show. In fact, what is suggested is to have always the same fixed time. For example, if you're going to do a 10 episode, try to do it always a 10 minutes episode, or 5 minutes. In my case, I try to be around 20 or 40 minutes the latest. But for example, Tim Ferriss interviewed the CEO of Spotify. It's a very good episode if you would like to check and listen to. And that went for almost 2 hours. But it was so interesting that when I go walking, I split it in two times, and I listen to it all. And it's so teachable. I mean, you learn a lot, and the way it is prepared, so professional, and it's great. You can check. And also try to search under categories regarding the ones that you like the most, and try to see which episodes are there, who are in charge of that, and follow them, listen to them, and learn from them before perhaps you may think about launching your own. That I truly recommend, because there aren't many, and as I was saying before, it's a new way of sharing, like what they are saying regarding the pandemic and what we are living all over the world. The audio is coming more and more popular. So I don't know if it's too, I went very fast, but if you would like to ask me questions, or if not, what you want to know more about this fascinating world of podcasts. Can you hear me?
Yeah. What is your podcast?
Sorry. Yes, my podcast is Attitudable. That
Yeah.
it's an invented word.
Yes.
How do I stop share? Sorry, let me try to stop sharing. Oh, okay. Attitudable, it's invented from attitude and able. I mean, your capacity and responsibility to have your own attitude and to change or modify your own perspective. How do I stop share? Okay.
Okay, good.
I'm here.
And what language is it?
It's well, it's English, and I began doing only English interviews. But as I told you, sometimes it's good to have your own. My mother tongue is Spanish, so I began doing interviews in Spanish, and I found that my audience, I mean the people who I would like to reach, find it very useful as well. So as we are translators and linguists, sometimes you have to research your own niche and see perhaps if you have your own podcast in your mother tongue and also your target, or both, or it's up to the needs of your clients.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any questions or? Sorry, there's.
I'd like to make some comments.
Yes, sorry.
Hello?
First, I would like to answer Einat, because he says something about YouTube, And I also recommend to have it in YouTube because some people are not very familiar with podcasts. And when you prepare the interview or your own episode, you record your episode, you can also make the video. I mean, if you do it via Zoom, Zoom gives you the possibility of recording the audio and the video.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So you can have it both available in YouTube and audio only, because some people always want to or prefer listening or watching a YouTube channel, and others only the audio. So yes, I would recommend having both because it's the same. I mean, it's not more work. It's the same.
Well, there are some podcasts I follow that started audio only and then added video, and at some point they started referring too much to things you see on the screen. They have to start explaining it in audio. So it's sort of, it's a bit of a trap.
Yes, you have to bear in mind that it's only an audio. You have to think that most people will not be watching what you are. So yes, you are right. I agree. Yes, sorry. Would you like someone wanted to ask something?
That's me.
Hi, Victor.
I would like to make a tribute both to Anna and Dolores, because you are absolutely fabulous, because you know at half my age what I'm beginning to know now. About a couple of years ago, I arrived 1 hour from house to work and backwards every day. And I live in a city where traffic is horrible. And I used to listen to music, but that wasn't enough. Then some guy asked me, why don't you listen to Speak Up? Speak Up was a CD of about 50 minutes language. So as a result, I learned French, English, Spanish, and German in my car. It was a piece of knowing myself, knowing what I can do, what I can control, what I cannot control, and using podcasts. It's fantastic.
Thank you. Yes, I agree. We are avid learners as linguists, and we are always wanting to know more, and this is a great companion. And there are so many fantastic podcasts that you have to check and listen the ones that most interest you.
There are so many that it's a bit overwhelming, I think.
Yeah, eventually pick a few and follow them. I think that's...
Yes.
Too many.
And sometimes, yes, you know, my library is full, I mean, but sometimes you listen to one and then you get not bored, but you want to listen to other issues, and then you change and then you go back, you know, it's...
But then don't you feel guilty about all the ones you didn't listen to?
Yeah. You can. You can make them all up, then you can listen to them all together. Yes.
That's
right.
where Anna's came. You must do the priority here too.
Right.
Yes, people, as we are always in a hurry, or our attention span is, you know, goes in and out, they sometimes recommend to have short episodes. So you can perhaps have a 5-minute episode and fully packed with a lot of information, and that's it. You know, you're done, you're finished. So, but it depends on your
podcast.
Yes. Well, there are many, you know, meditation podcasts when you begin the day. Yes, great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Yuri.